when they are singing out Noel, Noel. When if you check it is a backward spelling. Noel inverted, says Leon. Leon is the lion king of Israel. Man is the king of Israel.
Yes, I. Shalom again here back, Daniel, with the continuation of the history of Babylon, you know, and it's the history of the fall, the rise and fall of Babylon, you know, and you know, it's then the coming of the kingdom of God. It's what we explaining here, and this goes step by step because again we were talking about the origins of One Love Caravan, the origins of myself, yeah, the origins of the system and of the manipulation. In fact, we go here again, we go to the so-called Swiss guards, right? So we I already showed you a little bit about the Swiss guards last time, yeah, but we're gonna go more into depth about this because
Mediodía
mediodía en punto. So we are in the high noon right now. So Swiss guards. So this is the Swiss guards, okay? Wikipedia page, because we're gonna also dismantle this whole Wikipedia stuff, you know. We're gonna compare what is written there and what is the truth. So the Swiss guards now, it's saying here, the Swiss guards have served as guards for foreign European courts since the late 15th century, okay? The earliest Swiss guard unit to be established on a permanent basis was the 100 Swiss, the 100 Swiss, the 100 Swiss, which served at the French court from 1490 to 1817. And so on and so forth. You can read the Wikipedia, you know, the Swiss guards in France, 100 Swiss, and you know, this is their colors here and all this. All right, the Lion Monument in Lucerne, yeah, there's a mirror maze as well. We used to go there as well. The Lion Monument, yeah, I know this place very well, yeah. Das Löwe-Denkmal, yeah, I know this place very well, right? And how this is linked now again to the Swiss guards and all this stuff. The Lion Monument in Lucerne, the incised Latin may be translated to the loyalty and courage of the Swiss. To the loyalty and the courage of the Swiss, right? Because again, the Swiss, originally we were mountain people there, mountain people, yeah, in the mountains always they lived the spiritual advanced people, the monks, and I showed you these Celtic tribes, yeah, these Celtic tribes who got conquered by the Romans, let's say this German, not even German, before German, because German again is a mix, yeah, of the Celtics, yeah, and other influences. But anyhow, these Celtic tribes, these indigenous Swiss tribes there, they got conquered by the Romans and they got Romanized. So, but before, what did they support, yeah? What is their culture? Where is their nobility coming from, yeah? And all this, yeah, it's coming from the highlands of Ethiopia, okay, this without no doubt. But again, genetic tests and all these things will show this as well, because this kind of technology we did not have some decades ago. We also have to consider, we have now this analysis and all these computers, you know, and it's different than it was some decades ago. So now we can get to better conclusions, right? So the Swiss guards, I told you, the Swiss guards is the bodyguards of the Pope, and the Swiss guards, they have the Saint Maurice, yes, as a patron, which is very, very interesting, because Saint Maurice is known to be an African, a black man who came to Switzerland. Also, he did many good things in so-called Europe. He went to Rome, you know, to watch. You know, he came from Egypt there, from Mitzrayim. He came to Europe to like as a police, you know, like to keep order, to keep the Christ order, you know. And yes, I know in Switzerland, yeah, nowadays, and all this is completely against Africa, you know, and it's against completely satanic, yeah. And yeah, how did this change, yeah? If originally we would be, the original people, spiritual and, you know, noble, and we would believe in the good, and we would also have a tradition, you know, and nowadays all satanic. How did this change, yeah? So we go into this, because again, the original Swiss from the highlands, the original warrior monks, yeah, the original ones, they would defend the King of Kings of Ethiopia. Yeah, they would defend the Caris. Yeah, they would defend. Yeah, that's what the original story is coming from. That's why I'm like that, because seriously, check it out. The Swiss now, they put the Swiss in a very difficult situation as well. Now, at the moment, the people from Switzerland in a very difficult situation, because I myself, I know Switzerland is small, yeah? There is not so many Swiss. You know, the most people in Switzerland living, they're not Swiss. Again, I will explain this. Okay, I'm also just half. My father came from Portugal to Switzerland. He was an immigrant, yeah? Look, this started with the immigrants coming in the 70s and from Italy, yeah, and then also came many people from Turkey, yeah, like they went to Germany, millions of from Turkey, yeah, because they need workers, yeah. Europe always needs slaves. Actually, the word slave is from the Slavs. Who is the Slavs? The Slavs is actually Germans now. Germans mixed with other, also, it's always a mix of tribes, and it's not the pure Germans, you know, like, yeah, it's mixed people. That's why Stalin, which is the originator of Superman, the Man of Steel and all this. Again, you go into the history. Stalin, he was from Georgia. Georgia is like people from Georgia, the ethnic group from Georgia. It's very interesting. Like, they're Caucasians. They like white people. They're like Aryans. Yeah, they're like originally Georgia. Yeah, they're not Slavic. Okay, like Stalin was not Slavic. Stalin now was not Slavic, but yeah, he did actually worse than Hitler in this sense, yeah, of going against ethnic groups, yeah. For him, the Slavic people also, they were just the slaves, yeah. That is all about. So anyhow, Switzerland is completely racist, yeah. The Swiss Guards, for example, again, it's military. Yeah? Swiss Guards is military, right? And the military in Switzerland Switzerland is the only country now in so-called Europe, yeah? Maybe one of the last in the world, you know, where you're forced to do military service, yeah? So they also wanted to force me. By myself, I went to the authorities, and I fought for my right that I don't have to go, right? So, but still, then they want money from you. I think my mother, she continued to pay for them, and it's crazy. Yeah, they force you. They want to force you to go into military service. So they're gonna force you to like they forced Bruno Groening. We always talk about Bruno Groening, and that he was not a Nazi, even if he was. You can see him in a Nazi uniform, and he was at the front line in the war, in the Second World War, and he was on the German, let's say, side physically, but not spiritually. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You cannot just you cannot put myself, yes, as a Swiss. I will die first. I will not assign no thing. That you can beat me up, you can everything. Switzerland, so in all this I do not support. That's my enemies, because they just do evil, and I can show you. It's very easy to understand, right? Swiss guards, right? It's corrupt. It's corrupted. Whole Switzerland got corrupted. Original Swiss defending the Christ coming from Ethiopia, the highland, right? So then they conquer the Romans. They conquer these Ethiopians in the Alps, yes, and then they make this whole they Romanize them. They conquer them. Then we use their letters. Yeah, we use their fashion, right? And then later on, the Roman Empire turns into, they steal the whole Christian tradition, right? And they continue with the whole sacrifice and Babylonian tradition, but they say now they are the Christ, right? And then they paint the Christ white and all these things. But wait a second, I'm telling you, wait a second, because again, Saint Maurice is the patron of the Swiss Guards, and I telling you that the Swiss Guards now, we have to understand what is really going on. Okay, why? Because this individual now, right? This is Ignacio de Loyola, right? And this individual now, I don't have to explain you too much about this individual, right? You can just look it up by yourself, and there is many other people exposing Ignacio de Loyola and the order of the Jesuites and all this, because again, this is the worst of 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 the worst that you can imagine, okay? So if you imagine the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst, right? And then you can understand what this guy is all about, okay? So if you don't understand what this guy is all about, then you cannot understand how the colonization took place and how the slave trade took place, Because this is key, because he founded the order of the Jesuites, and this is key, So anyhow, I will not go into detail now of, because it's actually quite obvious, It's quite obvious. If you just look at these pictures, for example. If I show you this picture, yes, obsessed of being God and man, You know what I mean? And you see him there with the, you see him there in the heavens, and you see all these naked children, and you see the skulls and the bones, and don't go into detail, because then maybe you cannot sleep. Yeah, it's the worst of the worst. Anyhow, this is the founder, of the Jesuit order. This is the responsible of going with this hypnosis, with this Catholicism. Yeah, I already showed you, and I can show you again out of this kind of ideology, which is white supremacy in the first place. Yeah. Wait, I have to link the internet again. The second. Yeah. It has to do with again, jealousy and envy, you know, because these people are so dumbed down, you know, so jealous of the real ones who know, you know, like they're jealous, you know, of everyone who's better than them, okay? And it's a serious thing, you know. So let's see. We have the Swiss guards now, again. We have the Pope, right? The Pope and the Swiss guards are the guards of the Pope. And the Pope now, at the time, we have a Jesuit Pope, which is Francis, Pope Francis, yeah. And the Swiss guards, again, the bodyguards, they would give their lives for the Pope. And Ignacio de Loyola now, and the Jesuit order, and the Swiss guards, okay, because they're defending the wrong one, right? They're defending the wrong. So, if you go, Nossa Senhora, again, Nossa Senhora, Senhora, dos pretos, we have to be real, dos pretos. Nossa Senhora dos Pretos, right. Imagem, right. Okay. I already showed you that we have the original people, actually the original people in so-called Europe also were the Ethiopians, right? And they come with this idea of Ignacio de Loyola. They come with this idea to colonize, to take the slaves, like take the, not the Slavs now, take black Africans, the real Jews, let's say, the real Israelites, yeah, you can take them as a slaves because they can work in the burning sun, right? That's what idea of Ignacio de Loyola, yeah? So, and he, again, obsessed to being God and man, put himself as having conversations with God, you know, and you see this white with the white beard, you know, in the heavens, God, and he talking with him, and he's supposedly also one of the divine beings and all these things. You have to be very careful. So here we go. Here you have the Nossa Senhora dos Pretos. Yeah, just to cannot see it so well, but anyhow, you look it up by yourself. You see, it's the same kind of manner. The same kind of manner. They put the white Mary and the white Jesus, and all the black ones bowing down. This is for sure very, very, very dangerous. Now we go. Okay, Switzerland. Okay, Switzerland, and I myself, again, I do martial arts. Okay, I know what is all about to defend your life and to defend your health, you know, and we have to defend the good, you know. So that's why I'm defending, again, I'm defending the truth, yeah, and I'm defending Ethiopia. I'm defending Haile Selassie, you know, as the Christ. So here we go. If it's not making sense in anyone's head, I cannot help you, you know. So who is the real Christ? Yeah, who is the real King of Kings? Who is the real Lion of Judah? You know, and we as a real Swiss warriors, yeah, we defending Haile Selassie. Makes total sense, right? So anyhow, myself, I grew up in Switzerland as half Swiss, half Portuguese, you know, and you know there was a war going on in Europe. There was the Yugoslavia war. I talked about this already, and when this was in the 90s, and they came thousands of refugees from ex-Yugoslavia. And they came then to Switzerland, and they became my friends, yeah, from Bosnia, from Serbia, from Kosovo, from Macedonia, from Montenegro, yes, and yeah, it's very interesting story there, the Balkan, you know, because the Balkan has many different traditions. The Balkan, okay, the Balkan area. Now, the Balkan area. Come, look what's going on here. Come on. Look, here we are at the west side of so-called Europe. Huh? Here we are somewhere here down here. Okay, and we want just to go to the other side. But we have also here again, you see how close it's to Africa. Then we have on the other side the east side. The east side, we have Greece, and we have, you know, see here, we have Turkey, Greece, you know, see Bulgaria, Romania, Serbia, Kosovo, Macedonia, etc., Albania, etc., etc. This is called the Balkan, yeah. And you see Greece, and this is already Africa, yeah. Again, so the Balkan area of many, the history very interesting. That's why you have many cultures there, again. And you have, in specific, you have the Serbian Orthodox Church, right? The Serbian Orthodox Church, and you would have to investigate the Serbian Orthodox Church, because look at this. This is from the, wait a second, it's from Wikipedia. We're just going to see what is on Wikipedia. The Serbian Orthodox Church, look at this. The Serbian Orthodox Church, you know, is one of the autocephalous, yeah, independent, I say, Eastern Orthodox Christian churches. Yeah, okay. The majority of the population in Serbia, Montenegro, Republika Srpska, Bosnia Herzegovina are baptized members of the Serbian Orthodox Church, is saying here. Okay, so the Serbian Orthodox Church now is a special kind of church. Okay, it's not yeah, they're not following the Pope. Again, the Orthodox are not following the Pope in Rome. Not at all. And the Serbian Orthodox Church, they have the Book of Enoch, right? And here, for example, just to see, we have here, we have the Troje Rusica. I don't know if it's saying this. I don't think that I'm saying it right, but anyhow, meaning three-handed Theotokos. Three-handed Theotokos is the most important icon of the COC, Serbian Orthodox Church, at the main icon of Mount Athos. Mount Athos. You see? Okay? Yeah. All right. And this also, wow, very interesting. Older eparchies, look, eparchies of Hosno, seated at Monastery of the Holy Mother of God in Hosno region, okay? Then older, you know, older eparchies than that, the eparchy of Hosno, yeah? No, older than that, under the jurisdiction of the Serbian Archbishop were eparchy of Ras. Huh? Eparchy of Ras. Eparchy of Ras. Okay? So wait a second. Now here we go. We're just gonna put here the volume. The volume. Because actually it's all interrelated, right? It's all interrelated. We have here the Balkan, the Serbian Orthodox Church, right? And then we have the war. Yeah, we have the war. And why? Yeah, why we had the war? Because, wait a second, then they said, okay, they made the European Union in the 80s, and it's to prevent war in Europe. So, No. It's the European Union who made immediately war against Yugoslavia, because Yugoslavia, they have some very, very important information. The people there are more spiritually advanced, yeah. The people there, they have more knowledge about science, yeah. Because again, many traditions were there. Many traditions came together there. Okay, so there's the Jewish tradition, Kabbalistic stuff, Islam there, again the Orthodox Church, etc., etc. So that's many scientists and many spiritually advanced people coming from this region, right? So they make a war there because it was a concurrence. It was very, very potent, also economically. Yugoslavia and Germany, and again, this was all in ruins after the Second World War. So making a war there and bringing all these people, to the millions, and they're now all working in Switzerland, in Germany, and in France, and all over the place. People from ex-Yugoslavia, because again, Yugoslavia at the time was very good economically and all this, and has liberty and like freedoms and all this. While, for example, Germany was divided, east and west, and there was no freedom at all, and people wanted to pass the border, and they could not even visit their family in West Germany, and they would risk their life to pass the border. Many people got shot. In the 80s, when I was born, 89, the wall in Germany fell. So, wow, at this time, Yugoslavia, if you were from Yugoslavia, you would go travel everywhere and work and, So again, they're so jealous if someone is successful, and if someone is more intelligent, better than them, then they will go there and make war. They would kill you, because they are so jealous, okay? So it's jealousy and envy. What is getting these people, the energy actually, yeah? Let's see how what kind of people. It's not people even, eh? This is vampires, eh? Again, this is vampires, and I'm asking myself why it's not playing here, because suddenly it stopped here, the music. I wanted to show you this. Anyhow, it will suddenly pop up again, because wait a second. Yeah, actually it's like this. We have to work with this technology, and it's very difficult. It's not helping sometimes, But anyhow, I will demystify why it's not working after. I will just show you again the Serbian Orthodox Church, Eparchy of Ras, and Church of the Holy Apostles Peter and Paul, Ras in Raska region, Eparchy of Lipljan, Eparchy of Prizren, yeah, Prizren in the south of Kosovo, yeah. That's why also the Kosovo, they got, in Switzerland, many refugees came from the Kosovo. Actually, from Albania, you must understand, in Kosovo belongs to Serbia, but the many people from Albania living there, right? So the system, Europe, yeah, they played with this. They made, they make all this ethnical. They made up a story. They made up a story. Okay, so they said, okay, the Serbian people, they wanted to make out of Yugoslavia a great Serbia. Yeah, they said that Serbian people is like the Nazis. They said, this Chetnik, yeah, this the Nazis. They want to kill all the Muslims, yeah, and they want to make big Serbia, yeah, That's for sure that there were some people who wanted to do this, but again, this is the Nazis, That's why they have the Ustasha in Croatia, and you have the Croatia, for example, is Catholic, yeah. You see what I mean? The Rome want to occupy, or Rome want to conquer this long time, yeah. But again, because there is other groups, yeah, other groups were against Rome, were against Babylon, so they resisted, you know. So Rome makes a war, Europe makes a war in the 90s, yeah, to split it all off, and then afterwards to annex it, because they're now Slovenia, and then Croatia, and then this and that, and Bosnia and Kosovo, and they want to annex this step by step, you know, like Romania, like Ukraine, the European Union. All right. So we see the Swiss guards, right? We have the Swiss guards. We have the, you know, the order of the Jesuites, and then we have many other things coming out of that, because now, for example, this individual, you know, this, my God, yeah, man, I have to expose this because it's dangerous, my dear, you know, because things happened with my family, and I know people, they're deep into mental slavery, you know, because they make this kind of workshops and all this. Look at this, man. This is a Jesuit, you know, this called Niklaus Brandchen. This guy's from Switzerland. What he's doing there? Yeah, oh my God. Where I grew up, right, in the mountains there's a place called Menzingen, yeah? Very beautiful, in the mountains. Just where I grew up, next to. And there they have a monastery, yeah? The Jesuits, they have a monastery, and they do what they do there. Like this guy is doing there, Niklaus Brandchen is doing there, what? Zen, they say they do Zen meditations. Yeah, okay, wait a second. You know, these people are as a Catholic, you check just the history, yeah? Who founded it, who is Ignacio de Loyola. What can sick, this is the most sick ever, okay? These people are, again, the criminals. And then they do Zen meditation. What's with Zen? What? Zen Buddhism? These are Catholics, right? Yeah, right. And then if you know that these people, they work with hypnosis. If you get this, then you see what's going on, really, right? So the people like my family and all these people in Switzerland who are into New Age movement, and they have too much money and they make everywhere a course for that and this and that. Reiki, this and that and Zen Buddhism, and it's all this New Age movement, right? To cover up what is really going on, which is the Christ coming. And this actually the originator of here spiritual healing back in the West. The West forgot everything, and he brought it back. It's called Bruno Groening. Check it out. Yeah. So Bruno Groening brought it back after they made all this New Age, blah, 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 blah. And they hypnotized the people. We have this whole hippie movements and all this, you know. And it's dangerous because the hippies, again, I'm not at all supporting none of hippie movements, you know. Because again, this is all designed by the system, yeah. And I know now everyone's spirituality, this and that, and blah 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 blah, yeah. But no, right? This is all designed by this kind of people to hide the truth. They think they can continue with their things. So very dangerous, yeah. For example, there is in Portugal, there's the biggest the oldest community, yeah, and it's called Tamera, everyone knows it, Tamera, yeah, and what they show you actually there, you even go and you pay there, you pay 500 euros to make the Liebesschule, you know, the Liebesschule, and they teach you open love. They teach you everyone with everyone, and in the end they want to teach you, you know, who is behind that, you know, this man here, this this figure man, this figure man, yeah, he has to do with Tamera. Check it out. He has to do with Tamera. He is writing about Tamera and saying, good, Tamera, good, very good. What he has to do with Tamera, yeah? Check this out, man. Step by step, I will show you, what is going on here, really. The manipulation, it's tremendous. That's why people believing in a flat earth. That's why people believing in that the human is made by the Anunnaki. The people are they believing in the most crazy things, yeah, because they don't really study, nothing, yeah. They just watch some videos, and there is all this manipulation by these neuro-linguistic programmers, yeah, and this hypnosis, yeah. So they do hypnosis, and people like that very dangerous. And I'm telling you now that, for example, people they don't really think about that, but it's true that Don Quixote, Don Quixote de la Mancha, Don Quixote. Look, this is from the Wikipedia. Don Quixote de la Mancha, is saying the full title being the ingenious gentleman Don Quixote of La Mancha is a Spanish novel by Miguel Cervantes. It was originally published in two parts, in 1605 and 1615, considered a founding work of Western literature. It is often said to be the first modern novel. Don Quixote, the first modern novel. Don Quixote is also one of the most translated book in the world. I think after the Bible, it's the most translated book in the world. And one of the best-selling novels of all time. And this is Spanish culture. This is Spanish culture. Don Quixote is Spanish culture. That's why the Spanish culture is the most sick. It's anti-culture. It's like United States of America. You see, Spain and Portugal, they glorify the devil's victory. My God. They glorify colonization. They glorify slave trade. They glorify the evil, right? So, Don Quixote de la Mancha, Cervantes, you say, he invented this story, like Wilhelm Tell. Wilhelm Tell, the hero of Switzerland. Yeah, someone invented this story. Yeah? This story, it's not at all, it's never happened. So they invented the Helvetia, because Helvetia, I already told you, it's African, it's Ethiopians, yeah? And so they invent the Helvetia as a figure, as a woman. They invent the Wilhelm Tell. They invent everything to make a culture, yeah? And then you go, and then you're forced to go to military and die for that culture? Wow, okay? Wow, they really force you. Wait a second. Don Quixote de la Mancha, yeah, it's actually not just invented, it is based on Ignacio de Loyola, and that's why, again, I already exposed this long time, and I talk about this long time, but people, I don't know if they really get it, what I'm talking about. Don Quixote is Ignacio de Loyola. Study the two, and that's what they want to put you, that you imitate that. Very dangerous. Because these are very sick people, okay? So again, if we really gonna, defend the good and the truth and all this, we have to see. They want to put you, in, for example, in Switzerland as well. This is that. We have the biggest carnival in the world in Switzerland. The biggest carnival in the world. The biggest carn, it's flesh, it's meat, carnival in the world. And it's in Basel, again, it's in Basel, it's the Basler Fasnacht, It's not the carnival in Rio de Janeiro, no. It's in Basel, It goes long time, It's not just one day, it goes long time. And it's all with these demons and all these things, It's very dangerous, yeah? So, anyhow, we continue with this, because we must understand, if one side I come from, again, Switzerland, and the other side from Portugal, and we have to really see what is the origin of this so-called culture they want to put you, like what is the origin? And then I can talk about the other countries as well, again, like I talk about Serbia, Yugoslavia. We can go into every country here in Europe, yeah, and see the origin. The origin you will see come from Africa. And then somehow Rome, somehow Babylon enter this region of North Africa with the Roman conquest. So the Roman conquest, yes, and from Europe out to the whole world with the colonization again, and it's all coming from the Vatican. It's all have to do with the Jesuit order, yeah, and this is all very important to understand, because this happened now some 500 years ago, and it's not so like, and this still has we have still the suffering the consequences. For example, again, because we are still here and we want to go to Africa, and we are not able to do this. And I will show you here on the map, and then that here we go. Ceuta and Melilla, you know, Ceuta and Melilla, it's the last two colonies on the African continent. Actually, you see, here is the Stretch of Gibraltar, and here you have Ceuta. It's not even saying here. I don't know. Wait a second. This cannot be. You know, they wanna hide you something. Wait. I will show you anyway. They wanna hide you Ceuta, man. Everyone who's from Spanish descent, or like is around, actually you should fight for that. Ceuta and Melilla got independent, or like you should not want this belong to Spain, right? Because it's illegal, my friends. It's illegal, right? Look, it's illegal. It's just a military strategic. It's a military basis. That's it. Military basis. Look at it. Here is. Can you see it? Can you see it? Ceuta. We stayed 1 year there. So tiny. Ceuta belongs to Spain. Yeah, the origin of the Ku Klux Klan. You can see it there. They're glorifying the colonization there. And they're completely racist. There's black people there. Check out our YouTube channel. In the concentration camp there, in the centers, in the... Check it out. And there is the other one. There's actually two. Yeah? And this is called Melilla. Can you see it? Melilla. This also belongs to Spain. Yeah? But Spain, yeah, is anti-culture. Spain, yeah, is the Reconquista and the Inquisition. And Spain, still a kingdom, and still have this king, from what they're living from, you know? From who they are living, yeah? And still, they have these colonies. You know, and Spain actually was fascista, you know, was fascist 100% with Franco and all this until the 70s. It did not even make part of the United Nations because, yeah, it was fascista with the dictator, and they would not follow human rights at all. So actually, you know, for example, 74, it's very interesting, 74, Haile Selassie, like, disappeared, right? Because again, they made a putsch there, they fooled some people there in Ethiopia, and they make this communist putsch there, the Derg there, you know, with Mengistu, Haile Mariam, and all this story in Ethiopia in the 70s, yeah? But also, the last colonies there, Angola, Mozambique, like Angola get independence also in 1974, okay? And what they do then, because before it was Portugal, check it out. Before, in 1970, Angola was Portugal. Wow, and I think it's 14 times bigger than Portugal. Angola is 14 times bigger than Portugal. And actually, I was there in Angola, yeah, and I lived many years in Portugal, you know, and oh my God, you know, how these people from Portugal were able to colonize Angola. This story is very interesting. It has everything to do with Inácio de Loyola, you know? And this hypnosis. This is Angola now. Look how big it is. Yeah. Until 1974, this was Portugal. Really? Really? Yeah. So many white people lived there, yeah. And in 74, you know, again, they make a whole lot of conspiracy, because in 74 started then the civil war, the war, and the war went 35 years. 35 years in Angola war, you know, for what? Yeah, to make all the infrastructure, to get the resources. Because actually, look at this, it's so big, Angola. Angola is so big, and you see the capital, Luanda. It's the capital, Luanda. Now more like the half of the population, like 7 million people, like 14 million, or, you know, living in Luanda. You know, and before actually, when the Portuguese reached there 500 years ago, no one would live in Luanda. There, no one would live. No one would live there. There, no one would live. And now more than the half would live there. After 35 years of war, you know, this all planned, and we were going to show you, because I have some I have insider information, you know. I talked to people who've been there in the colonial war. I've seen pictures, I've seen, you know, I have friends there. And I know what is going on, you know. And what did they do, you know? Yeah, they said like this, oh, now the blacks gonna take over. They said to the white population there, you know. They said, oh, now watch out. Yeah, and they also did this. They put some killers there to specifically kill some mulat people, you know, some mixed people, you know, and that the people get afraid and say, oh no, they're after the whites, and they're after the mixed. They all get afraid. So what did they do? They shipped thousands of white people living in Angola back to Portugal. It's so-called the retornados. So it's a repatriation they made. You know? If someone ever was in Portugal, you know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean. We have in the family retornados. We have many retornados, yeah? It means it's white people, it's from Portuguese descent, yeah? And also them sometimes they're mixed, they're half caste and this. But they grew up they lived in Angola, yeah? And when they came the independency, they went back to Portugal. Because they have to, and now it's a new country, right? So there will be a new passport. So everyone who wants to stay, you can stay, but watch out. The blacks are after you and they want to kill you, you see? Yeah? And they put afterwards, actually, there in Angola, they put like these two sides, yeah? The communists and the other ones, you know, like the black front, you know, and this and that, you know. One guy, he studied in Russia, and the other guy, he studied in Switzerland. Supposedly, the one who was Jonas Savimbi, actually, I have to maybe even just show you that, because, you know, people don't really know this story. Because Savimbi, it was a false, this is a false leader, you know? A false leader, right? This is a false black leader. This is a false black leader. This is a false black leader. Yes? This is a child of the Jesuites of Switzerland, right? So watch out, right? This one now, Savimbi now, yeah, he studied in Switzerland. And he got, you know, really, you know, manipulated, you know, to, again, they put you two sides, but this is actually a story unknown, you know, to the most, yeah? Savimbi studied in Switzerland, and José Eduardo dos Santos studied in Russia, right? And that's why actually Angola has this communist influence, you know? Like they make the putsch in Ethiopia, you know, in the 70s. Yeah. So very good that you can follow me, yeah? If you can follow me, you know, because we continue then soon with this story, because it's a story very important. Yeah? You see the link between Switzerland, Portugal, Angola, Ethiopia, you know, and the whole story, how it has to do with the Christ, with the healing, with the end of Babylon, with the visions of Daniel. It's all so interconnected, you know. And then you see what is the plan actually. Yeah? There is a plan. Yeah, there is a divine plan. Yes, and also there is the plan of the devil. Yeah, to implement the world dictatorship. Yeah, and there is the plan of the divine to free the people. You know, and to go back where we come from. Right. So thank you very much for watching. Soon be here again with the continuation of this story. Daniel, One Love Caravan. God bless.